Hello, friends. Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, to another episode of Warui Deshou Stream of Thought. I am the Subtle Doctor, as usual, joined by, well, two longtime friends, but one you might not know as well. But we're hoping that you get to.
He's auditioning for my replacement, folks, and he's already winning in the hair department, so there's no problems there.
So
I mean, you were just my warm-up segment. We never had the heart to tell you.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, it was inevitable, really.
So that lovely dulcet tones that you hear, and situated directly below me in your stream, is Manchester's own. Let's see. How do I intro you this time?
Carefully.
Okay.
Carefully, Doc.
You are more fun than a pile of succulents. Shadon.
What does that mean?
Are you inventing like titles for Braz's videos here or something? What the fuck?
We're front loading the porno announcement.
Might as well.
Yeah, we have to plant the seeds, as it were. Yep.
Well, there's our first donation
intentional.
title.
Yes. And
Thank you for that.
Also joining us from the Netherlands is the chef, DJ in residence of anime Twitter. It is Alexander Smit. Hello, Alex.
Mr. King Shit himself.
Wait, hold on. I didn't hear that last part.
You're Mr. King Shit himself, if I recall correctly.
I am. King shit only on the Twitter feed.
There you go.
The 2020 rebranding is taking effect. Good to hear.
I noticed.
Yeah.
So just to give you all at home
it's receiving market penetration.
That we're off on this one, are we? Yeah. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes!
No. But anyway, folks, just in case you're curious, Alex is at...
Who is this already?
I thought I was... He's even going to beat me in the alcoholism.
Wow.
What the hell?
That's
what
amazing.
The hell? But anyway, in case you're curious, because it has been a while, Alex has not been on our podcast in the past. If I recall correctly, you've been on to cover Lupin the Third, the woman named Fujiko Mini with us. Really, really good to have you back, Alex. It's been too long. So I'm eager to show how. I'm eager to see how much you put us in the shade with all of your insights, because the one you put out on Twitter earlier today just made my head go.
Also, you always make me feel very old, or I,
Speak for yourself.
You're one of those friends that like sort of I'm hoping helps keep me young, but I just know deep in my heart it's just gonna go poorly for me.
Well, unlike Shadon, you still have your hair.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello, Blue Sea. Hello, Felix. And I'm sure others will be popping into the chat. And also, Shadon, Alex was on our Anime of the Decade show.
So he was.
Came out recently. And after doing that, I was like, why has it been so long? So we're here now to talk about...
You want to get shown up? That's the reason.
I mean, I thought the reason he wasn't mentioning that was because I denounced him on air and ushered in the age of Mario Kata.
I see no issue with this.
I don't know if he's gotten to that point in the pod.
Shine on.
He might not have been there. He might not be there in his listening of the mammoth pod. But when he gets there, I'm sure you'll hear about it.
Oh, you will.
Oh no, I spoiled the surprise! No!
It's fine. I'll forget in 5 minutes.
Oh, well, I go off on one, so there's still plenty don't worry about it.
I love the sister fucker bit, by the way. That was amusing.
Yeah. Everybody
important...
else saying insightful things about gay representation, and I thought, what can I bring to the table? Goth girls and sister fuckers.
Well,
important
you're not wrong. You're not wrong, to be fair, mate.
I'm never wrong. That's the terrifying part.
That is the scary, scary part, indeed. But we're not here to talk about anime of the last decade today, or the hottest growing subgenre in anime fandom. We are here to talk about Eizouken number 8, the Ocho. Had to get the Ocho in; it's important. Eizouken,
yeah,
as well. So Before we do that, though, we would like to close out our discussion, your input, actually, on Episode 7, and check in on the Twitter polls from last week. So every week, if this is your first time joining us, when we do this, we put out some Twitter polls during the show that you can vote on for an entire week, and we'll refresh the current episode's polls at the end of the episode, but then loop back around when they're done the following week and check in on them, which is what we're doing now. So, Shadon, tell us, how fare the polls from the last episode, which I believe was titled I Can Do It Myself.
Yep. I can do it myself. I can tell you exactly what the polls are. So here we go.
I have to do it
you actually
for myself.
You have 1 day left, by the way, folks. So in theory, this isn't the final results, but...
Oh, yeah, we were late. That's right.
Yeah. So do feel free to chip your 2 cents in here if you want to. Anyway, episode 7, poll number 1. Were the opening 3 minutes the most wholesome 3 minutes in anime this year, as in ahead of time, determined already? Doesn't matter what else comes out. It's already set in stone. And 77% of you said yes, to which I agree. It was pretty good. I mean, especially since Alex has now offered that additional bit of insight and, turned my heart into so much dust. Gone. And 23% of you, well, you've got no hearts. You've admitted it, Your Kingdom Hearts villains. What's going on here? Come on.
Woody is about to take them outside.
Well, that's what my role is on this podcast, Anyway, poll number 2. Is the background art guy from the art club the worst? 61% said totally, and 39% said not quite. He redeems himself a little bit in this episode with his brief
Everyone
cameo.
does. The people I have problems with. Just about.
I have some comments. I wasn't on last time, so now I get to talk about what a big shitbag he is.
The robot man, the leader.
Is that why you didn't vote in that poll, Alex? Because the answer's strong enough to reflect your distaste of him.
If I can't bias the vote. I have to let the people decide. I can't overrule the Warui Deshou pods. I can do that on air.
True.
But I love that this show keeps bringing in different ways that other people are truly fundamentally difficult to work with.
Yeah.
Like with the robot guy, it was his hangups, and he didn't really have a concrete ideology about robots, just a lot of passion and just stubborn grit in all the wrong ways. But here,
don't draw this fucking car.
Yeah. No, but it's just a complete disregard that it's a collaborative process. Just utterly, fundamentally, does not understand that he's working with other people. Takes all of the instruction given as an excuse to just do whatever he wants, rather than furthering the ends of the art. And then he gets really, really upset when anything is when anybody makes any kind of commentary. And he even walks like a douchebag. You see him walking later, and you're like, damn, I need to hit that motherfucker in the face.
Yeah. He's also got Daru's hair from Steins Gate as well.
Yes, he does.
It reminds me a little bit of him.
Don't drag Daru's name through the muck like this.
Okay, I apologize.
Daru deserves better.
He does, to be fair. He does. So next poll then. Next poll. This poll, I think this went out of date faster than the last time I had milk in my fridge, to be honest. Can Mizusaki's parents fuck right off? I mean, we discussed this and we were like, we're never going to hear anything more about them, really.
No, I thought
I thought this was going to be the Kanemaru episode. Actually, I thought we've wrapped up Misazaki in a nice bridge, and we know what she's about, and now we're just going to have Kanemaru having to wrangle the students' fair. But no, we were in part 1 of the 2 of the alley-oop.
Yeah,
that's right. And so
I'm just surprised the parents also got screen time. I mean, I didn't even think we were going to see her dad ever. I
was legitimately surprised at that as well, and it turned out he wasn't a raging dickhead.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to go so far as to say that they're these model parents. I mean, even they admit that they are not present in her life the way that they ought to be, but at least they understand, and at least that they're adaptable and flexible human beings and seem to be somewhat reasonable.
Yeah,
and love their daughter. So
could be worse. He could be Nathan Park from Parasite. Just saying.
It could be any other anime dad. It's a low bar.
It really is. So the poll, we had 59% of people said fuck right off, and 41% rightly predicted the actual episode's content by asking, are they that bad? Really? So
not as bad as I thought.
Lend me your crystal ball, folks.
Right.
Finally, my favorite poll ever. The one in which people were right by being accurate about how wrong I am. Specifically, are Shadon's puns getting better or worse? Alex, I'll let you have a comment on this before I reveal the results.
The
answer obviously is they've always been crap.
I promise you, I'm going to make a pun worse. That's going to make you groan by the end of this.
You really are trying to replace me here, aren't you?
Yeah, damn.
Ugh.
So,
all
right. My answer would be worse, by which I mean better.
I think that's accurate.
True. So, 33% of you said better, and 67% of you accurately said worse. At one point, it was 69%, and then someone ruined the poll. Thanks a bunch for that, folks. Thanks a bunch. You ruined it. But no, thank you everyone for contributing onto those polls. We'll be more coming along as we go through the discussion of Eizouken number 8. Do feel free to check them out at Warui Deshou on Twitter. I'm going to now chuck this back to Doc so we can talk about creatives and then move on to the discussion of the episode itself.
Yes, indeed. So, episode 8, we are now officially moved on to the Grand Shibahama Festival. Shibahama Sai.
Not the Grand Budapest Hotel.
A movie I never saw.
It's a good movie.
I don't know whether that's good or bad or indifferent, but a movie I never saw. This episode was directed by Seishiro Nagaya, and Nagaya-san appears to have done quite a bit of work in the in-betweening department. Also, there's some episode director and storyboarding bits. Also, an interesting credit here, I'm seeing like battle concept design for a show called Shadowverse, which, like Grand Budapest Hotel, I've never seen. But we have some good credits here. Nagaya-san was animation director for a couple of episodes of Flowers of Evil, a great show. And they also worked on key animation for a whole bunch of, almost the entire show. They were a key animator. Second key animator on an episode of Durarara, which is weirdly kind of forgotten about, I think, in some respects now. But
it died a long, slow death is the problem.
Rip.
That first season was hot. People were talking about that, but then it just kind of leaked away from fandom consciousness.
With the budget.
I see. Yeah. AKB 0048, In-Betweener. And, of course, storyboarder and episode director and key animator for Eizouken here. I'm trying to see, is there anything else? Oh, if you're a Osamatsu-san fan, lots of storyboard credits here and even a couple of episode directing credits. So, have a pretty experienced person in the director's chair this time, which is cool. And I think it showed in a lot of ways. I really loved the direction of this episode. This was the most like, is catharsis the right word? I'm not sure, but like I'm
thinking anarchic myself. Like, you know,
well, it was that
was nuts, but that was great. I loved all of that.
But I was so pumped. This is the episode that like. Usually the kind of emotional palette for these shows is like, I feel comforted, I feel joy, I feel like tenderness.
So like in a Yashike.
Yeah. But like this time, I was like on the edge of my seat. I was like pumping my fists. I was worried. I was actually stressed this time, which is not an emotion or state of mind that this show usually puts me in. But it's all good, and we'll get into all that in a moment. But briefly, just want to shout out also the in-card creator. In-card illustration this episode was by Shoko Takahata. And Takahata-san has done some digital animation for this show, episodes 1, 2, and 6. Has done some ending animation and key animation for episodes 2 and 4, and also prop design for almost the entire show so far. And I love the props in the show, so props to you, Takahata-san.
If I may,
Doctor, back in the running.
And you all said my puns were terrible. You know, it's a race to the bar on this. If I may, though, just interject and point something else out,
Sure.
I would very highly recommend, if you're interested in more detail on the creators behind Eizouken and particularly how that meshes with the show's philosophy, go head over to Kevin's account, KVIN. There was an article that came out recently that has been retweeted onto our own Twitter feed that details the history of the creators, how they got their stars at Science Saru, and also how, as Doc has noted, we've had some more experienced staff members coming over time. It's providing with kind of a safety net. I'm not going to quote the entire article. Go read it. It's a great and fascinating read.
Yeah, it's very, very
I
good.
Heard that recommendation. It's really good. It was also really nice to read something like, oh, there's an anime studio I can believe in other than Kyoto Animation.
I know. I don't think that the philosophy, like the working philosophy and kind of the setup of Science Saru maps quite as cleanly onto the Eizouken quote-unquote studio and production as the tweet would insinuate when you read the article. For instance, I don't really think that the Eizouken girls have safety nets. But having said all that, like the work there in the article is very good, and it's largely a fair kind of comparison, and still great to read about. Like Alex said, if nothing else, like forget the analysis of the show. It's really nice to read that Science Saru is doing their bit at helping people, kind of helping their talent acquire skills and experience to help them succeed further down the line, and just taking care of their people. It's a really good piece.
There's something that just like popped into my head, which I wanted to make the comment that Science Saru was like, oh yeah, no, it's an animator's studio, so you know you bring together like disparate voices.
Love that part about it.
Yeah, but the great part about it is it's an animation studio but it's an animator's animation studio that has Kanamori's in it. It's not Gainax.
Right. Yes.
And Misasaki just fucking off on their own. That's Gainax.
Yes, it is. You're so right. Actually, you need your Kanamori's.
Appreciation for I'm really still waiting for if the other shoe never drops for Kanamori, if she's just the heroic producer figure, if she is the Heracles on the production committee on the Argonauts, then I'm okay with that, like because that's a great character and I really enjoy that. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, but the sense that there can be a person who embodies what production should and could be as an ideal rather than something you just have to work with is one of the things that makes Eizouken stand out as much as it does.
That is very eloquently put, right? That the production model is not something we discovered and we have to live with as an ineffable part of reality. It's something that we can change and make better.
Yeah.
and we can envision better ideals for it. Like that is actually a really huge point in favor of
That's true. And there is one moment in this episode where it almost feels like Kanamori actually crosses a line, sort of, with some of her language where she says, like, if it's for the benefit of this production, then we must do it. And I thought, yikes. But it all works out in the end. Like, you know, that doesn't mean she crosses it, but just comes close to it, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I'm also waiting for that to happen. I'm waiting for either to for her to make a move which pushes the other two over the edge, or for her to make a move which she regrets.
You and I are of like minds on this, Alex. Because every time I've said it, he's like, no, don't want that.
So this is important, though. I think this is important. Like, is something implicit in all this that the producer having a moral compass is actually like central to anime production, not only working but like being healthy. Like if you don't have a Kanamori there, like will it always turn into Gainax? Will it always turn into Mappa? Or you hear about these horrible production delay situations. Like if Kanamori is not Kanamori but instead George Wada.
Like I made that comparison on Twitter as well.
Is the producer then like just the linchpin, and does that mean like that just they have this outsized importance, and if they're not kind of qualified in terms of soft skills, in terms of people skills, and just being a good person, like it seems like that is a very precarious kind of position for the industry to be in, to be relying on that.
I mean, any position which has any sense of hegemony is going to be that precarious. I mean, there is an argument to be made that like only showing Kanamori as heroic is like is like the stories where you only like have fair and benevolent rulers and you go to sleep thinking that the state is a good thing.
Yeah.
But in an anime studio, it seems more egalitarian than that. You know what I mean? Like we always think of the director as the top banana, but and the producers.
And I think there's two things which differentiate it from that. Which is the first is that Kanamori is always in dialogue with Asakusa and Mikazuki. She's like even though she's the one who cuts the knots and makes the hard calls and organizes things around them, she's always doing that in a collaboration with what the other two want to do. She like it's production it's production as production. It's not production as management. It's not, I have these two people and I have to fucking do something with it. It's like, hey, you want to do this thing? Let's see what we can do.
Let's make compromises. Let's, figure things out rather than I say jump, you say how high.
Yeah. And the second thing is like, it makes, she's really good at being a producer. She's really good at being a producer. Like that's the thing. She listens to people. She looks up technologies which can help improve the anime process, and then actually does the Q&A before they can, just so she knows if it works or not. Like
absolutely.
All of the artists on Twitter were just like, where can we find a Kanamori? Excuse me, hello, can we have her number?
Can we have a Kanamori to help us run this podcast?
I said this on Twitter, but I have stopped referring to the bad id and the good id in my brain as an angel and the devil on my shoulder, but it's just the Kanamori and the Eizouken animation studio.
So basically, the angel, the bad angel on his shoulder, doing the raccoon dance constantly.
Oh yeah, no, and it's like, I'm just like, I just want to watch an episode of anime, and I want to like say good things about it. And meanwhile, the raccoon dance is like, have you seen these 5 tweets?
What if a personality swap between Mizusaki and Kanamori? Because if you have that go-getter attitude, like in a different place on your staff, you might be fucked. But then I guess you would not hire a producer perhaps with that lacked the kind of skills that Kanamori has.
I mean, I think there's two things about that. The first is, I keep going to say that a lot. I'm sorry, it's a habit. I've
got plenty of bad habits myself. Don't worry about it, mate.
I have more. Don't worry. But like the first is that would be completely insufferable because of how rich she is.
Yeah. Oh, sweet Jesus. You're right. Yeah. I guess I'm more abstract out from these characters. I guess what I'm asking is like...
Oh, sorry, you first.
No, yeah, but you actually are really... You're correct. I think I was more just kind of thinking out loud about if you had a very organized go-getter personality, but at a... if they are at a position in the team that is not producer, that is like an animator or something like that, and then your producer is a lot more like Mizu, like in the weeds. Now, but then I guess that's all kind of. This is all not really relevant to the episode. And me just thinking about
as a producer is Kojima, is Hideo Kojima.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, like, I have two words that I would associate if she was a producer, and that is executive meddling.
Micromanagement.
Yeah, because Mizusaki is detail-oriented and perfectionist to a horrible faults, which is the thing that Kanamori is just, by halfway through episode 7, is just fucking furious about. And she's going to let her do her thing because she's the only one who can do the thing. But like she gets so mad with her halfway through that episode. She uses normal honorifics.
Burn.
That's when you know. Okay, so are we now ready to move on to walking through episode 8?
Yes.
Summarize them? All right, so here we go. Episode 8. We're going to try to get through this somewhat briefly. It's always very difficult, but there will be discussion and analysis type stuff at the end. So get ready for that. So we come into the episode and we find out that the Eizouken is still cutting it close with their robot anime production. They're short. They have left it so late that the voices are not actually in the film. They're going to have to dub it live. They're going to have to do it live. As
yeah, I mean, who would do things live without a proper script beforehand or any sense of coherent structure? Am I right? Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, point taken. So they're going to have to do this live dub, which actually I think is really neat and worked really well for what they did, but they're going to have to, double up on the labor. They're going to have to do it again in studio for the DVD release. But so the girls watch the film, being the Eizouken, the core 3 and the sound lady. They watch it together, kind of looking for errors and things like that, but like Asakusa, like you see on her face, like she's like watching it like holy shit. But the thing that I actually love about how she reacts to it is like it's not like that time when she was a kid watching Future Boy Conan where she's just totally absorbed fan. Like she's watching it as a craftsperson, like as an artist, like as a thing she's responsible for. So like immediately coming off of it, she's like, okay, can we do this? Can we go back? Can we fix this scene? Can we resync? Let's drop out some music. Let's create a motif. That'll help make it. All those things are really neat. Find out that Mizusaki's parents are coming to the Culture Festival. Enter the conflict that perhaps some people were craving for this show. Like, here we go. Here is...
Can I add one thing, by the way? The reason that they end up coming to this Culture Festival is because I believe they were going to be seeing a production of some description, which is cancelled. And I tell you now, the freeze frame on that iPad with the actual story is incredible because it feels like it's actually referencing the production process itself. It says, the director tried to murder one of his staff with a sword due to creative disagreements. And I'm like... Again, even that draws back to the actual central, story and idea of Eizouken as a show. And it's a funny insert in its own right. Like, holy shit.
Also, at this point in the show, we find out that there is an HVAC club, which is astonishing. What's that?
What club, Doc?
A what club?
HVAC. A central cooling and heating.
I mean, there was a moving company club in the last episode, so...
Yeah. This one just seems so benign. It's not like... a lot of them are very sort of outlandishly weird. This just seems so mundane. Like, it's very bizarre that there's an HVAC club.
It's the gig economy, but for school clubs.
It's true. Oh my god.
We could have infrastructure, but instead we have a club for that.
Oh, Zofang, you stop it. You stop it right now. This is not foreshadowing the fact that the director and the writer tried to kill the producer.
I mean, they would take on Kanamori
Take it back.
with a sword.
I might delete that comment.
People try to take on Kanamori with a sword as just the ending to the Jet Li movie, The One.
Oh no, I'm not ready for Papa Roach in my Eizouken. No.
Yes!
Oh, no.
We already got a Slipknot fan in Eizouken.
Okay, yes, you're right. Shit. God damn it. Oh, okay. That's my headcanon. I need to clean it out now. Just going to be zen from this point onwards. I'll be good. I'll be good.
Easy breezy.
Yes. Thank you. Carry on, Doc. I know it's difficult to recover from Jet Li's the one in many respects, but
no, it's not Jet Li's the one. It's early aughts new metal.
It's the Drunken Master, goddammit. No.
it's the freaking like.
Were you a Papa Roach fan?
No, not at all. I've always, even when I was a shitty new metal fan, and I had my time with it. I mean, how could you not be a teenager in the late 90s, early aughts, and not have your time with shitty new metal? I never liked Papa Roach. I never liked it.
As far as musical tastes go, they were his last resort. Told you bad. People were right by saying I was bad. I'm just enjoying more the facial expression that Doc put than like he was just deflating like a balloon.
So early morning ramen is happening. And we get to, a little sprinkling detail here of Asakusa being a survivalist. She set up a little, Yuru camp style cooker to cook the ramen.
Subscribe to Knife Guy.
I need to add something in, by the way. I saw Ride Your Wave yesterday, and they had a similar camp stove in that had Camp Saru on it. I was like, nice, I like that.
That's
but
good.
I wasn't in this show, and in hindsight, I'm just like, oh, come on.
They missed each other. And so they're talking, they're having a little morning meeting because they've stayed up all night again, prepping. They're talking about getting the pre-orders for the DVD in, and Kanamori does the thing you talked about, Shadon, where she says, look, we're going to have to do certain things for this production that are necessary. And the big thing is, Mizuzaki is now a booth babe, so to speak. She is the kind of bait to lure in all the nerds and fanboys and girls with her Instagram fame. Famous model, Tsubame Mizuzaki, made this anime. Come see her, shake her hand, get photos, all kinds of fun extras. They're going to use her to bring people into the circus tent. And Mizu learns through phone call or call or text, I can't remember which, but that her parents are coming. And the next morning, she's ready. She's got the sleeve pulled up and the fist. She don't give a fuck. I mean, she's like, look, parents are going to come. This is our, if this fails, this is our last throw of the dice anyway. It doesn't matter. I'm going hard, going all in on this. And I have in my notes, what the hell is Asakusa wearing in this?
Oh, Asakusa, that's the one you're occupied with.
Because it is true, Mizuzaki is wearing a manta ray costume for some reason.
I was trying to figure out if that was a pun or not, and I couldn't do it.
But
Asakusa is wearing the camo outfit because one, she's anxious, and two, she feels in her own mind that she's
ready for combat.
Yeah, she's going literally into battle in a sense.
I mean, she looks like she just jumped out of an airplane. It's not just the camo and everything. It's she just, I don't know. She looks like a human cannonball or something.
Asakusa's ready for some CQC.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I was just thinking that.
There's way more Metal Gear-y things that happened in this episode.
Good. That was what I was. That was what I was setting up there.
Yes. So yeah, Kanamori is the only one in somewhat normal clothes. She's got is it a turtleneck? I don't know, some kind of long sleeve thing.
She's got
she doesn't usually wear. She does have the cool earpiece. But yeah, we have Asakusa in combat gear and Mizu dressed up as a manta ray mascot. That's not the word. Mascot is the word. There was a vowel switch.
That is in all caps. That's her information broker.
It's a vowel switch that happened somehow in my brain. That's what getting old does to you. Anyway, so the Robot Club comes through in the clutch here because, the Eizouken girls really struggle to draw a crowd because there's such a hustle, bustle, commotion. It's very loud. People are doing things. You got a guy rapping about how he's the best. People passing out fans and shaved ice. It's quite a scene. But the Robot Club rolls in, fires off some firecrackers, throws out some banners, has some makeshift megaphones, a bunch of robot costumes, start the advertising campaign in earnest.
Engaging in the classic I'm Spartacus strategy.
Indeed, that comes up. The guerrilla marketing of the Robot Club is tremendous, and the fact that they came through here for the Eizouken really endeared them to me.
I really have to know how much of this was Kanamori and how much of this was the Robot Club.
Oh, dude!
I need an extra scene of that, like that planning.
So much of it was Kanamori, you know it, because that one person who was actually kind of somewhat cool and nice, the lady, was like, "Look, Kanamori has entrusted us with your protection. Take this robot head and get out of here."
Yeah, no. Kanamori is both an Ocean in Ocean's 11 and the Lord presiding over her army going to war.
And a scene that we get pretty soon is that amazing negotiation scene. Really, just a blackmail scene with her and the HVAC operators. This is, again, the HVAC Club referenced earlier, and Kanamori said, "I've got all I need to negotiate this. Don't worry about it." And they're like haggling over how cool the auditorium will be, and the lighting and the music and the dialogue are just tremendous.
Film grade. They had fucking film grade. It's great.
Thank you, Shadon.
Film grain, like it is as if something very seedy is happening, and yet they're haggling over room temperature, and it's amazing. And she has them over a barrel because she has these photos of them sitting in their little club room with a very cool temperature, while the main campus temperature is several degrees higher. And they're having snacks and misusing their power. She has some abuse of power evidence.
There's a calendar with clearly a heat wave going on in the background of the picture.
I missed that. That's great.
That's great.
So then amazing things start to happen because the security club and student council pursue Mizuzaki to arrest her. Subtitle.
Would this now be a good time for me to bring in some contributions we've had from one of our patrons?
Oh, sure. Anytime is a good time for that.
I want to give a massive shout out to Blinkaji, who is our resident Lupin fan. He knows probably more about than all of us put together. According to him, this entire chasing Mizuzaki down scene is actual reference to a Lupin episode which I believe was called "Which Third Generation Will Win." In which Lupin hands out Lupin disguises, and the police are running around trying to arrest him and just taking at least 30 of them. Apparently, it is some of these scenes in here are practically the same, just in Eizouken, if you will. Same style, same framing, and all that. And this, of course, will then make it, I believe, the second time we've had Miyazaki referenced on this.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
So that's incredible.
We could have referenced him many, many more times, but I think people get the idea with the flying machine stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, yeah.
Looking at an airplane, is this a Miyazaki reference?
Right. Just an airplane.
Just a regular airplane. Down, it's the tiny little airplane in front of you. No? No one getting that, mate? No one getting that meme? Damn it.
Sorry.
Y'all need to get on your meme.
It was already the joke I was making. I'm not going to go for it.
Damn it.
So, let's see. Mizuzaki is being pursued by the student council, Shark Tooth Girl, and the security club, who, again, are here at Shadon, and they are very real, it would seem. And they have their body armor, they have their equipment, and they are wanting to bring this girl in because that kind of advertising is not permitted on school grounds. So to
for good reason, ballistics are kind of.
I mean, again, to just reference Ride Your Wave here. part of the events in that film happened because of people setting off fireworks illegally. So, getting mixed messages here, Science Saru. Come on, do you want to allow fireworks or not?
I mean, these are water bottle rockets, so clearly we have gone through the Hegelian dialectic of
the synthesis.
You have that on tap to bring up at any time, and I love that. That's incredible.
So, to get her out of Dodge, Kanamori has come up with this great plan, as we referenced a minute ago, to basically get a lot of people wearing these robot cosplay suits, which are just cardboard boxes on your head and your torso with arms cut out for running and such. And they're using that as another form of advertising, which is great. But it turns out a lot of people are wearing those, and so security has to, as you said, Shadon, they end up making a lot of false arrests, and they don't know where Mizuzaki is. And sort of in the middle of the scene, we get a very, I think, Metal Gear-ish moment from someone who hasn't really played much Metal Gear. It sure as hell felt Metal Gear-y when Kanamori is like she's from fucking Mission Impossible, like up in a high place on top of a building. Which how big is this campus, by the way? Like, it seems enormous.
We've already established that it's a nightmare zone.
Like, and she's on top of a building, like with directing traffic. She's basically like, go right, okay, duck, all right, come up on this corner and stop, dive down these stairs. It's like so good. Like, I was laughing so hard. I mean, it was just tremendous. Sort of orchestrated stealth in a cardboard box. So Metal Gear. And so we have entering the show both the MIBs don't come till later. My notes are a little mixed up here. So the Robot Club president is running around singing the robot song from the anime he loves.
The theme song.
Which one?
It's the theme song to Mazinger Z.
Is it? Oh my gosh!
Yes.
Holy shit!
That's awesome. I haven't seen the original, so I didn't know.
That dude, when he's running past him, is like, I haven't heard that in ages.
Yeah,
that makes me back.
Yeah. So that was cool because I didn't know if I didn't know it was a specific song from an actual robot anime, but I love what they're doing there with a dad and the kid, right? And the dad is like, "Oh man, like I know this, like." This makes me feel nostalgic. And the kid is like, "Kakui," and they're like, "Okay, son, let's go see this anime." "Yeah, Dad, this seems cool." And it's like the generations are appreciating anime together, which, for me in particular, very heartwarming moment that I love and reminds me of my own life. And so, also, I know Shadon loves the zipline. And
oh, yeah.
The fucking robot man uses the zip line, and again, as he's sailing across campus, I'm like, how big is this place? Jesus. And
it's like Asuka noted in the very first episode. It's just a complete mess and hodgepodge of stuff that's kind of organically grown over time to the point where it makes no logistical sense whatsoever.
I love it so much because it's because when you're looking at it from the outside and with like wonder in your eyes, it's like, this place is great. I love it. It has so much character. It looks so great. But like people are having their commute. It's like, I have to do the clock puzzle in the third building again to get to my 3 a.m. It's like, but
it's probably the one place
every day of your life.
Yeah, it's probably the one place that actually legitimately has that repeating stairs like illusion happening. Can you imagine Google Maps working on that? Like, make a right and again and again and again and again.
And somehow you're like 2 floors lower than when you started.
Yeah, it wouldn't
Pretty
know.
much.
It'd be like, and you're there. Like, I'm where? I just see more stairs. Before he takes the zipline flight, the president yells, "Switch super wing," which I thought was great.
Robot captain. Let's not kid ourselves.
It's true. He does. And so the Eizouken make it through the pursuit. They all get inside the auditorium. Everything seems like it's going to be okay, but then the MIBs show up again. Hooray! And Mr. and Mrs. Mizuzaki, and they're going to come in, they're going to watch, they're going to see what's up. And the student council has said, look, we can't go in there and get them. It's too crowded. Wait till they come out. So they're free and clear to show the anime finally, right? And during the screening, I was on the edge of my seat, as I said before. I was so worried that something was going to go wrong. I wanted everything to be perfect. I wanted it to work out. I did not. I was like, this is your chance, Mizuzaki. This is your chance to impress your parents. This is your chance.
If you had one shot.
Yes, it is that. It is
Eizouken mile.
Yeah,
there we go.
There ain't no such thing as halfway doga. I don't know, but so God, I was so invested in this scene. I
got it. Don't worry, man. I got it.
I was really, really into this.
Straight out of Eizouken? Does that kind of work? No. Stretch. Yeah. Damn it. Yeah. I tried.
You sure did.
Thank you.
I'm trying to work out now something in my head with syllables, but I can't do it fast enough. So I'm just going to move on to say that the crab eating was super gross and full color. Super disgusting. It looked like they were pulling out some really thick tentacles out of those crab shells, and as someone who's I've eaten crab in that way, it was not that gross. It looks super disgusting.
You're doing it wrong.
In animated form. And we see the rest of the production though goes off really well. They do the live dub. It's great. We hear the people in the audience murmuring. They're getting really into it. They're excited.
The tea throwing sequence.
Yes, we see all kinds of little callbacks, both that we as the audience notice, and then many of them, not all of them, but many of them, the parents noticed. This the running, their arms in front running. And
which we saw Mizusaki do, she's just Rocky doing it's Rocky as Solid Snake.
Yes, it's so good. And then the chopsticks, which we were they showed in the way Mizu holds chopsticks, we see in the early morning ramen eating meeting. She holds them funny, different from everyone else, and we see that she's drawn it that way. And this makes mom and dad get a little misty-eyed because they know that their little baby has done this. And they see the robot fight, and they see the movement and the character acting, and they see that their daughters, prints are all over this. And we see a fucking badass release German suplex, the greatest thing ever. So good. I've seen a bridge German suplex in a robot anime before in the first season of René no Lagrange, but boy, I would love to see a release German. What's that?
That's a pull.
I know, that was a deep cut. The Nissan anime.
No. The Nissan no, is that the Nissan anime?
I think Nissan was part of it.
No, Subaru made an anime.
Oh yeah, was it Subaru?
That's a different anime.
No, you're you thinking of the Magical Girl one?
Yes.
This one I believe had something to do with Nissan, the car company. No, I know the one you're talking about, the Subaru Magical Girl one from a few years ago.
Wait, a Subaru Magical?
Yes, This happened, and it was critically acclaimed.
It starts with a P. That's all. That's what I remember from that one. Even I own a review copy of it.
I'm stunned at that. No, I'm not. Nothing surprises me anymore.
No, this is the example I use to explain what production for anime is like, because you can just have these production companies okay, we just want an anime to sell a product, and then you assemble a cast and crew and you get a studio behind it. It's I guess we're making a magical girl anime about Subaru now.
Yeah, so this is Wish Upon the Pleiades?
Right, because that's the Latin name of the constellation that Subaru is named for.
Ah.
All right, so I'm googling René no Lagrange, and Nissan. I'm so sure that they had something to do with this. Nissan Motors designs the robots of new anime Renee no
Yes!
Yeah, I knew it. I fucking knew it.
Your time has come.
So
incredible.
I'm gonna look up those robot designs later. I haven't seen those in 8 years. Looking at my calendar,
it's been a long time. I don't even remember them. But there was an amazing like bridge German suplex that at the end of the first episode got me super excited, and then each week I was let down a little bit more watching that show. But apologies to folks who enjoyed it. I didn't think it was like bad or anything. It just kind of fizzled out for me. But anyway. So yeah, like I said, we see the parents come around, get misty-eyed. We see, because we've already seen a lot of this robot fight, so they do a really smart thing here where instead of just repeating it, they drop all the sound out and the amazing music comes over the top. And we see the robots fighting, and we hear the parents talking about how much they love their daughter and everything. And like, I don't know about you, but I got chills during the scene. This was one of like, the scene was so good and so powerful, and it really, really moved me. It was just like the culmination of everything that they've been doing. And it was cathartic to have the parents get to look at it and be like, you know what, Mom and Dad? Your daughter is doing something amazing. And it's not to do with your dreams, Mom. And it's not to do with you, Dad, trying to like, get her to live through your like
to fucking fall in line. Like, that's an extreme step in parenting, I will admit. Going from I don't want you to do this to I'm gonna hire private militaries.
Oh, do you know what the best part is though? It's not even that line. It's I heard my wife talking about how she doesn't want her to do this.
Yeah, so secondhand shit ever.
I am not going to talk to my wife, but I am instead going to hire a private mercenary company to take care of this.
Wow.
Now,
you could be a politician.
I'm frustrated because I have done this, and it's so avoidable.
You find private military to look after your kids.
Yes.
He's never played Metal Gear Solid. He's its star.
I've lived it. Yes. But no, I've done that thing where you like I go off something that my wife said, or something she said a long time ago, or something that I think that she would want to happen, and I will like get these plans and set them into motion, and she's just like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, but you said this, you wanted this. We could have just had like a discussion about it and then decide what to do together. And it's really like it's frustrating because it's too fucking real is why it's frustrating. And like real dad hours, you know what I mean? Real husband hours. God, it really, yeah. So have a lot of like the dad here, Mr. Mizu, feels like a husband, feels like a dad. I could definitely relate, but do not feel good about being able to. And so then I thought the episode was going to end here, but like they don't really.
Wait, no, I'm going to have to back you up a second because we haven't gotten to the best part of the robo fight, which is the pile bunker.
Oh yes.
Because when they're all like 2 episodes ago when they're all designing the robot, and then the quiet reserved girl who was like the voice of reason in the robot club was, I want a pile bunker. I did the loudest yell I have done for this show thus far. Until I've forgotten about the pile bunker, because like this whole like dramatic fight is centered around this like the scissors and the chainsaw, and I thought it was just like there's a pile bunker there. It's like, and then it's the final shot, and they're talking about like how their daughter is like a real performer, and then it pulls like this trick up its sleeve, which is the fucking pile bunker.
The pile bunker.
Yeah.
I forgot about it totally, but like that's noteworthy. Thank you for mentioning that. But yeah, I thought the show was going to end, like the episode will be over when the animation ended, but like we get Mizu like afterward, glad handing and going to grab some lunch. Kanamori, like super cool, super nice. Being like, hey, take a break and why don't you go get some food for everybody? and good people skills there. Sayaka
immediately leverages that to sell more merchandise.
Exactly. She's playing both sides.
She's efficient, Kanamori. What can we say?
Yeah, she's good at many things. And but then we get to see Mizusaki talk to her parents, and it was a really interesting conversation. And there's none of this like, so why did you disobey us, or why are you doing that, or Mom, Dad, can I please make anime, please? They're just sitting there quietly with each other. Mizu is like, so have you ever been satisfied with a performance you've done? Like, they're talking as if like they're like coworkers, you know what I mean, and not like parent and child almost. And they say no, and she like comes out with this really, I don't know, like she's been making a lot of dramatic speeches and statements at the end of episodes, but she's just like, I realized when I was making this that life is about this, making these projects, like investing yourself in something you love, like a creative process, and working with a team and building something and creating something. Like, this is what life is about. And she says, but there's nothing I can do about that right now, which is really interesting.
Grizzly's correct, as he notes in chat, that this is like the bridging between them. Whereas previously he's like, I don't want to get involved. No, I want us to be an actress. But like, there's a core element to the two of them, which is performance, which now they recognize in each other. And that's why they can have this conversation. Even though one thing I thought was neat was the way this was staged, which is you have both her parents sat front and center of frame, her on Ryan's side, the 90-degree angle. So they're not like, quite aligned as a family unit necessarily still in terms of the staging there, but they do come to an agreement and the core principle of it, which is it is about performance and putting something out there. So that was neat.
I mean, yeah, but it's also like it's this forced natural conversation because they're like in a very open space. They just got yakisoba. But they're like framed like very strictly by this Tengu gates.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a thing we're doing now. Okay, let's go
all in on it. Why not?
Yeah, I'm so curious. Like, what's dinner like at home?
They don't have dinner together.
That's true. They're probably out. They're probably just not there.
Yeah, I think that basically Mizusaki's parents like have had the impression of her from however many years ago that has never changed since then, because they've never like substantially or substantively even interacted with her over that period of time. I mean, all the evidence we've had up to this point is they either plain didn't exist, or they were just, as I said, like in the previous episode, figures or shadows in a doorway. That was it. I was genuinely taken aback to see them just like front and center in the opening minutes of this episode. Oh, they're actual people, and they're real people at that as well. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, like with the information that they have about her, at least in her earlier life, they're very, very sharp. They're very incisive. It's like, oh, she loved to mimic people, and what was actually always special about her was her eye for detail. It's like these things you could say about people because you've known them for a long time, but also you understand something which is behind their behavior, not just what they're doing.
That's right.
So they're clearly like they love her, and they at certain points in time they were involved parents. It's just that they've been going from project to project to project to project, and as she's gotten older, they've felt like less need to be as involved in that, and they've sort of. I mean, it's for the best that they haven't reached a breaking point because it all worked out in the end, but they reached a sort of point where they had to dramatically reconcile with how they thought they were doing with how they were actually doing.
Exactly.
It's a wake-up call,
Yeah, it's interesting how basically it kind of validates the position they've taken towards her all this time, but they've only really kind of had a change of viewpoint that now allows them to recognize that as a good thing, as long as they're all in agreement with it. That she, kids grow up on their own, and she's doing her own thing, and they're happy for her to do that, which is great. So I thought it was quite neat as well.
It really, shit like this just terrifies me as a parent, man. Because, it's just a fucking decision Dad made so casually,
Thank God I'm never having kids. I don't have to deal with this shit.
I just thought it would be good to get her focus off anime, because you said that you wished she was an actress. It's like not even this thing that he's 100% solid on, and Mom is not really behind it either, but it's affecting her life in this incredibly stressful way.
And also, like, that's probably just a thing he told his employees one day, and like it's their job, so they're going to do it.
It's true. This is why I'm glad I don't have money. That much money, I should say. A little more money would be good. It'd be nice to get rid of the student debt, but
Doc can have a little money.
Doc can have a little money as a treat. But yeah, like I said, so it's scary, man. Like the things that like you don't know as a dad, like what is going to sometimes like be something that your kids take to heart and is like really affecting, and they like remember it forever, or they just completely forget it the next day, or they don't really remember it, but it subconsciously shapes them. It's like the worst. It's so stressful.
Spin that wheel, man.
But it's great, but stressful. But great. But stressful. So all four of them are like unsatisfied artists, we find out, right? That they're never happy completely with their output and their performance, and they can all kind of agree on that. And Mizuzaki makes a great face, like, you know, haha, I knew, like, I could count on you as actors.
I have so many things to say about that face. I have so many things.
And then the final kind of sequence in the episode is her taking lunch back to Kanamori and Asakusa, and they sit down and start to eat, but the parents darken the doorway of their little secret alleyway alcove. And are you her tomodachi? Are you her friend? And Asakusa says, nope, we ain't tomodachi. We nakama, bitch!
The One Piece theme starts playing.
Boom.
And then it's great. Yes, it's
I wish the background behind them had exploded when she'd said that. But, man, well...
So good. End of episode.
No, because it's not about big explosions. It's about eating lunch in the dirt together.
That's true.
Okay, I'm going to turn the mic over to you guys. I'm going to step away for just a sec. I'll be right back. But please start the discussion of the Ocho here.
Indeed. Well, in that case then, you all, of course, folks listening at home, have had the unfortunate displeasure of putting up with me for 7 episodes stuff. So I'm going to actually pass the ball straight over to Alex to offer his fresh perspective on this. Alex, take us away. Tell us about some of the insights you've got on this episode. I mean, you mentioned the face, for example. Tell us all of the good stuff.
I'm not going to start with the face. That's the best stuff.
Okay.
I can't do that.
All right.
No. I mean, I really like we mentioned, the campus is like this nightmare place. But it's also, I really love that the rap club is next to the Rakugo club. It's just
there's a meshing of things that need to happen.
Just sort of like having to put up with each other.
That is legitimately great.
Rakugo, aka Old Rap, aka you heard it from me and also from me.
Great.
I love that. I love the little bit where there's just a wheelchair going up a set of stairs with the accessibility club.
The legitimately a great club, I must say. That's some awesome shit, right?
Yeah, no, like it's one of those little things where and I think that's like Science Star was like made this like conscious effort to make the signs and the student body and the just sort of general world of that campus like as multicultural.
Diversity. Yeah,
but it's also like they can like they're diversifying in that sort of way, and that they make a point. Like it's just like a little. It's like it. Like if it was a joke, you would call it like a little goof to the side, but it's like a nice point to be made about like the people that live in that world and what they value and like what the studio values, because as they said last episode, like every scene and somebody had to draw and somebody had to put time in that.
Absolutely. I agree with you there.
And like I love that the Robot Club his passion is finally vindicated through marketing purposes.
Yeah.
They no longer are they obstinate against through fandom bickering, but instead they realize that what matters is robots, and god damn it, they will do everything within their power.
You will see the robots, and I just need to comment on what Zoo said. I'm glad to see, as he said, that the Amoeba Club is still going.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's great.
Yeah, they were in there very briefly. I don't think they were the carbohydrate amoeba. I think it was something like the electrolyte amoeba this time.
Oh no, they invented Gatorade.
Gatorade, there you go. So yeah, they've invented Powerade or Gatorade or something, but I'm glad that they're back. Like, Eizouken keeps doing wonderful stuff with just its small background details, like stuff I mentioned about the board in the previous episode. So more of that, please. More little, like, jokey inserts. They're always great just to kind of try and spot.
Yeah, no, and I love the reason that the robot thing works as well as it does. I mean, it fucking owns, but also like the crowd is like constantly reacting to it. You have like one guy when Mizusaki puts on the robot costume, and then the cops show up, and he's like, should I? No, I'm not. I'm gonna go over here. But anyway, yeah, when he gets to when the main robot guy gets to the zip line, and one of the guys falls over, like pushing him from the zip line, but he's giving him a thumbs up as he's falling.
Or some Rube Goldberg shit, but it's great.
Yeah. And at the other end, there's like these two dudes who are like, "That was dope. We're gonna watch your anime."
Or even the kid, like there's like this family and like one of the robots. So cool. So we're getting all the different age groups in us as well, like being in it, which is neat.
Yeah, and it's like this, and it's the thing they've always wanted, because they spent like half of their first episode talking about how they were like ostracized and minimized within the anime community because nobody's interested in robots anymore. But they were so hung up about like they were hung up on gatekeeping, and that was what prevented them from sharing the thing they love.
And yeah, they do a complete U-turn this time now by being very proud of their home in the open, in the most public place that we've seen the show thus far, and being loud and proud of it.
Yeah, but they're loud and the thing that they're loud and proud about isn't like, oh, you robots are cool. They're like, this is a thing we believe in. They're like, these people are over here are doing something, and you should go watch it, and we believe in it because it's great. And we're going to sing the Mazinger Z theme song while we run around and do promotion for this shit. And we're going to do everything within our power so you can see what they made. It's this, it's the whole, like, it's just it's Looney Tunes community building.
Yes.
This is why I say all is forgiven, because they really did feel like they were propping up these ladies specifically, not just like the robots. They are great. Let us revive this old tradition of robots because you fools.
I do kind of want the alternative cut where they like show up in little lab coats and like, the age of the robots is upon us.
Yes.
Welcome back. Whether you like it or not, it's here. But no, I love it. That's a great point.
I would totally be into that. All right, so since we're actually on the topic of robots, let's talk about this other thing that Eizouken as a show teaches us here, which is, okay, you've made a great product. Fantastic. That's not enough. It ain't enough. Not even close. Because now you need to get it out there. You need to tell people about it. I mean, you can make the best fucking written novel in the world, but if you can't market it, if you can't get people to actually, fine.
I'm pointing to our logo.
you can make like the most like work of fiction, but if you can't market it, if you can't get out there getting noticed, it doesn't matter. And I think it's you yourself, Doc, that said to me once, you may have paraphrased from a different source, that art needs to be appreciated. It's not something you can just create in a vacuum necessarily. Then
did I say that?
I'm sure that you said that to me at some point. I've heard it somewhere. This is something I feel like I should probably have researched ahead of time. That'd have been nice. But then that wouldn't have been my,
I think,
so to speak.
I'm sorry, I missed the quote. What was the quote?
Art, doesn't just exist in a vacuum. It's meant to be out there and appreciated. I can't remember the exact phrasing of it, but I'm sure that it comes from a quote from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I probably still am bored with that. I think I am all about creations that people want to keep in the privacy of their own. They just make something for their own selves. But then it's like, is that art, right? I mean, it's something. It's good and it's useful and beneficial. But like, is a thing art if like it's not out there to be interacted with in some way? Like that's But I think I'm still on board with that.
Yep. The thing I'm going to add to that, though, is just to point out again how good this show is. Like, in the, yeah, all of the, robot stuff running around, the Lupin references, the zip line, the stealth sections, all of that is great fun. But if you look at it in a different light, it's also such a monumental effort on the part of everyone to get everyone into that theater through all of this. Like, they're going to such extreme lengths. And I think that's the show's own sort of way of saying, hey, you know what, this is fun and enjoyable, but it is going to be hard work, and you do have to put the time and the effort in order to draw people to your product to begin with. You can't simply just put a flag up, if you will, and hope people will notice it. You've got to continually, do more innovative ways of getting them out there. Like, we have the bottle rocket, we have the zip line, we're going to have the things on the back. Like, we get the cycle club coming, they're coming in on this as well. It's crazy when you think about it like that, but it is also so very true of the hard graft necessary. That's not even to do with the product proper, but rather just to market it and advertise it to people and get it to a wide enough audience that it can truly be enjoyed. So good on the show for doing that, while also making it fun in its own right.
Yeah, I mean, and Kanamori is, there's two things. One, Kanamori is literally breaking school law to do this.
No jury will convict her.
No jury could convict her.
No. Exactly.
Also like the captain who's running around and doing most of the shit. We get like a great little look inside of the helmet, and he's just he's crying and the snot's going, but and he's got a huge smile on his face because he really believes in what he's doing. But also, it sucks to run that much. Running is bad.
Running does suck. Super bad.
My doctor warned against it and suggested I get on a diet of cigarettes instead.
I don't. Not good either.
I didn't listen to his advice, really.
Does he remind you all of a Satoshi Kon character?
Yes.
Because both the robot club president, both in terms of how nerdy and annoying he is, but also just the character design, like the sheer detail of the gross, snot and everything.
I thought you were thinking of a specific Satoshi Kon character. I was like, which Satoshi Kon character?
I'm glad he's still getting work after pursuing the Tokyo Godfathers. That's nice.
From Beyond the Grave.
No, I'm talking about the character.
I would love if Satoshi Kon could still get work.
Oh, I wish that too. Honestly, I do.
He's probably doing some a killer key animation for Jesus, but Jesus is probably a shitty producer, so nothing has come out yet.
This podcast took a weird blasphemous turn as opposed to our normal blasphemous turn.
Well, it always takes him 3 days to get things done.
Heaven.
He's always taking sabbaticals, bastard.
Man, I should not be laughing nearly as hard at that, but that really
you're the most
me.
pristine of any of us.
It's true. In that I used to be. Jesus the anime producer. That's right. We need to flesh out this universe of Heaven, the anime studio.
No, we don't. We can stop right here.
That results in you getting Babylon, so no thank you.
Babylon was split apart by corporate interests. The right holders all took their share, and if you want to see Babylon's new anime, Gunbuster 3, look out for 2021.
Oh God, 2021. Are we saying, by the way, so is if Heaven, go with me here. If Heaven is God,
go to Heaven. Yeah, sure. I'm done. Got it. Sure.
Sweet.
If the pearly,
hey, Shadon, you got us in. We did it.
If the pearly gates are Gynax, then does that mean Hideaki Anno is Lucifer, and he defected to form Kara, which is hell, and so Evangelion is now.
Anno would tell you that.
Evangelion is now in hell where it belongs, instead of,
I'm really mad you used the phrase that you made the sentence Evangelion is in hell where it belongs.
Well, to be fair,
such a good sentence. I wish you would have used that for a review of 4.0. Like, goddamn, you.
Yeah, God's not in his heaven, and nothing's all right with the bottom.
Oh, I can bring that mug. I have that mug.
Sorry, Felix. Okay, I don't know why I said I have no point to bring. Someone else bring a point.
Over to you, Alex.
Okay, yeah, we were talking about marketing. I remember what we were talking about. Now I'm umming. Trying not to It's really hard. I'm just gonna do We're just gonna go through it, and then I'm gonna get to a point eventually.
So is the angel Gabriel then Kanamori? Is that?
I don't think I can see Kanamori as a religious figure, not from the Christian side.
No, you're right, Doc. It's Gabriel. Fuck it. Damn.
And then Asakusa. Who would Asakusa be? God. I have to give this some thought. What did who?
Uriel, you do.
I don't really know. I'm not super like up on the angelic lore and dogma.
I'm sure I'll find out. I'm sure I'll get a refresher when I play Doom. But anyway, no. So I'll come in with my other point then, actually, just for a moment while you get yourself together. Let's talk about Mizusaki herself and her history as someone who has been in a lot of advertisements. So we've seen like in a couple of spaces in earlier episodes, particularly on the subways, how she's like being modeled as like selling bottled water and stuff like that. I mean, this is like the Double H stuff from Penguin Drum, or even Risa Kujikawa from Persona 4, that kind of thing before. But what I like about this is that there's a very clear delineation between what her parents wanted for her, or at least her dad specifically, even if it was kind of a very vague idea of I'll just have her be an actress of some description, versus what she wants for herself. And yet, in this episode, at Kanamori's prodding, which Mizusaki eventually gets on board with, but is ultimately still a little bit hesitant about, she utilizes that kind of fictitious persona that's been made about herself, all of the various like pictures of her doing these advertisements, for her own benefit this time. It's something she takes active control of and uses to get people to buy into the thing that she's created, rather than being a passive person who's just having these things made to sell some other shit she could not care less about. And I thought that was such a cool moment that she took active control over the fiction that's been built around her.
I read it actually more as a compromise, the compromise that she was finally willing to make, because Mizusaki's whole deal is that she doesn't want she has to do it for herself, but she doesn't want anyone else to do it for herself either.
Yes.
Which is partially because she's had a very pampered childhood, and like that's like an attractive fantasy to her as much as it is like something that is a part of her perfectionism.
The American dream is still real to her.
Oh, that's okay. I'm gonna.
He's American.
So glad I just poured myself a drink.
Yeah, but that's a great. That is like a super good point, though. I like this analysis. Please go on.
Yeah, like she was mad that the sound was a good thing in anime last episode.
No, that's right.
She was like, oh yeah, like the sound really adds to a sense of movement. And she was like, yeah, the bastard, how dare it intrude upon my territory.
Stealing my shine. Back off.
Meanwhile, Asakusa is here just doing mixes, creating leitmotifs.
So good.
Taking the music out briefly, yeah.
Like just God's eye view of what an anime can be is just so beautiful to see once it gets into gear. But to get back to your point, Kanamori is like finally the one who gets her, who finally makes the proper pitch to her, which is, look, we're not selling the anime. We're selling asses in seats. What we need to do is get everybody here, and then you sell them the anime.
It's not like we are. Yeah, we're not using the anime to point them at your Instagram. We're using your fame as Instagram model to get them into the circus tent, and then say, "Look, we did this anime." That's the main thing.
And then the anime is the thing that sells it. The anime sells, like they're not gonna if it was just Mizusaki and they And they all went there, and the anime was like, yeah, whatever, it's okay. Like the couple of diehard fans would be like, yeah, well, I'll buy that, but the rest would just, go home, and it would just be a thing they saw.
Yeah, it doesn't have a face on it. I'm not buying it. The anime is who gives a shit. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
I want the robot to have like just the face mask to come off, and it's Mizusaki's face. And
yeah,
no,
exactly, exactly. But no, I'm with you on that clarification. Expand that. It's still to me though super neat, like that. Hey, I've had all this stuff like built up around me, like this media presence. Now it's my time to use it for something that I want, something that I'm proud of. I'm going to use it to point people towards this thing that I've created that doesn't feature me in the sense of me physically being present, even in terms of just being animated, but it is very much featuring me, if you follow my meaning. A thing that I have made as an extension of my thoughts and personality. I mean, especially with the cup throwing sequence.
She's right there. She's so in it.
Yeah, but to her, acting is just to her, animation is like the ultimate step of acting. Animation is what if you could hack the cheat codes of your body to give a perfect performance and then put that on the screen. Like you could find every detail. If you could get into the wireframe of your personhood, that's what animation is.
And I think almost equally importantly, as she said at the end of last episode, hack the brains of the audience. Because me, the animator, putting my heart, soul, like all that intentionality and care into every movement will make every single frame shine for people that are there looking for it. Like it's almost like we talked about last episode, this created reality popping more for people than actual reality. And getting to show movement. She just loves movement, and getting to show movement to people, like you said, Alex, like the sort of ideal movement as she would envision it, but also in this setting where you get to like the focus of the audience is so on this, and all these extraneous things that would take it away are shoved to the side. They're even out of the periphery. Like everything about the movement like is imbued with this like magic, such that like the brain is firing in a way that it would not do, or at least wouldn't do without like a bunch of effort on the part of an audience, because it's animated, because a human person drew it. And holy shit, so great.
A robot fight owns. It's a really good robot fight. And there's like a couple things that happen in that robot fight, which actually serves to like create this like great nuance to her monologue in the last episode, because the thing I like about Eizouken is it has these like great like magic school bus sermons where you learn what anime is, and
pay attention to this moment.
We are all brought into the imaginative world of anime production, and then we show what anime production is and why we do it, and etc. And sometimes it's like, oh, this is why I do this. But then we see an anime get shown, and we see like some kind of unintended consequences of those points. The first of which is that the level of detail and craft that Mizusaki is bringing this isn't just for connoisseurs. It's not just them saying like, wow, they really that chainsaw like really like has like it's digging in the dirt, and it's like pulling up the chips, and it's doing all great. But people walking here are just like, damn, that's a cool chainsaw. And they're leaning into their seats, and they're like patting their the people next to them on the shoulder, and
hype for this chainsaw.
Yeah, and but
groovy.
That that the thing she was talking about, where it was just like this very pure what if a theory of justice was about art, sort of thing, where the it's like we see each other for like our craft.
Right.
But what it also is that her parents look at that and go, "That's my girl. That's like that." That person holding the chopsticks, or the way that dude runs. And like just the way that like we are often going like, oh yeah, it's an Ikuhara thing because you see the red on black or that sort of thing, like that sort of idiosyncrasy that that isn't just like technical skill, but is just like this thing. It's just a thing they do, and like at a certain level that becomes like almost inseparable from that technical skill.
Yeah.
But Mizusaki isn't thinking about that, but it's still happening.
Yeah, she's certainly got her own stamp on it, if you will, as you said there. And it's good that, like, I think what's also noteworthy is the fact that we had like the kind of conflict between, hey, I want to do this, you want to do that, and then the forces that have kind of conflicted against him in this particular stretch of the show's run have been more external, really, rather than internal. It's not like them like, arguing amongst each other, like, I want to do this full-blown like cut of this particular motion. I don't want to use the tweening thing as it was in the ropes episode 4. This instead is all right, now we're going to outside parties here. Here's, this group of people, the art club. Here's the sound person. Here's the robot club. And even the air conditioning club, as funny as all that is, again, is another group that they have to work with in order to create the optimal conditions for doing this in.
Mm-hmm.
So...
No, but like you can easily imagine like this. If we were to use this as like allegory, I never know how that word is.
The second one, I think.
You got it. Second time.
Allegory, or allegoriist, as the Utano would say. That's a real quote.
Mm-hmm.
Is like it's like what if you have to fight with the theaters in a district about like where your anime film gets played, like that's not stuff you think about when you're like, I am creating this piece of art, but it's thing you have to think about is like, do I want anybody to watch this? Yes,
absolutely. So all right, over to you two. Who wants to pipe in next with a point? Bring us a point.
So like, I don't really have points this time because I think I said a lot of because I just watched the episode before we started recording and streaming, so like I haven't had time to kind of sit with it and think about it very much. So I think a lot of kind of what hit me on first viewing is a lot of the stuff I talked about when summarizing it, just like that I loved. I mean, I think this is one of the best episodes of anime that I've seen this year, of anything past or present that I've watched, because I was so caught up in it and because I was pulling for those girls to get this performance like pitch perfect because so much was on the line. The stakes were, I felt them so deeply, and there was so much tension. And I just was so worried something was going to go wrong. But everything seemed to work out the best possible way it could have. And yet it did not feel like a sort of cheap, happy ending. Because they still had to throw things together at the last minute in some ways with the live dub and securing the event.
They're working at night as well at the very start of the episode, and then by the time they're eating in the morning, like, the sunrise is coming up. Yeah. They're still working ridiculous hours to put this thing together until the very last second. It's crazy.
Yeah, like they also mentioned that like that it's like Mizusaki's like, we have to make this happen or else it'll all have been for like they're like this is their like second production. They've done one 2-minute short before, and they're already making their Final Fantasy. It's like,
I know. Like, it's crazy, like, when you think, like, even just doing something as short as a 2-minute thing like that, that's a phenomenal achievement in of itself. How many, like, I mean, I've wrote tons of stuff that I've never finished, for example, like, but actually just even finishing a work of any sort of, like, art, be it writing, animation, drawing, you name it, that's an accomplishment of itself. And then they're just like, well, what if we took this to 11? And I want to see what they do when they take the 11 to the 11 next. Like, that's going to be something. Then we get to the next episode.
Yeah, but that's like this really, really dangerous thing because we already see what doing it to 11 like puts them through.
We've discussed this before about the show. Like,
that's the specter looming. That the show has been heretofore reticent to like have a conversation with, right? The industry.
Yeah, and now I have my segue to my favorite point, which is the Doc mentioned the smile that Mizusaki gives her parents when she says, "You're actors. I knew you'd get it." And it's and first it was, and first I thought it was just like this like very simple thing. Of, oh, of course you'd get it. You're actors. But the when I watched it twice and I was watching it again, I realized that it's coming right after the moment that Mizusaki says that, like very specifically that, oh, this is what life is for me, and I can't change that anymore. Like it's this, it's not this it's not a like Mizusaki is triumphant and like Mizusaki is smiling in almost every frame of every episode in this show. But here she's very somber. Yeah. She's like, I'm stuck with this, like for better and worse, and I love it, but I'm stuck with it. And as somebody who enjoys creative pursuits and has several brain parasites, I have felt very, very emotionally damaged by that scene. Like I knew so deeply what that felt like, as something which you can like get strength from, but also is something that feels like a sentence.
Yeah.
And then the smile when the smile she gives when she says, "Oh yeah, you're actors," is like this bittersweet thing because she realizes that it's the same for them too.
Yeah.
Like acting for them is what animation is for her, and the reason why why they've been such distant parents and why they've made the choices they've made is because because they're her. She sees the future laid out before her as of what this will do to her and her personal relationships, and she also sees this much more human take on why her parents have failed her in the ways that they have, and all of that is her parents finally recognizing for her craft, and she's just like, oh yeah, you're like me. I knew you could understand.
Yikes.
I'm just absorbing that.
Yeah, I'm letting, it's like you said to me before, I'm letting but it's true though. I can't dispute any of your points there. I really can't.
When chat says are called Mr. Mizusaki a chat, which is great. A corporate leader and an actor.
He's Nathan Park from Parasite, I'm telling you.
Oh man. So I totally didn't like read any of that into it at all. I'm going to like keep all this in mind going forward with the show and see where we go from here. If there will be any noticeable change in her and how she thinks about her parents and or relates to them. They may not touch on them again, and then we'll only kind of be able to speculate about it. But I really, really like that reading of it. Boy, that would be very mature for a girl her age to kind of have that revelations, but she's shown herself to be that kind of person. I mean, she's thinking about like, her own existence in these very deep ways. So it would not shock me if this is a conclusion she came to on her own.
I mean, the only reason like she comes to that conclusion is because they finally connect through their art. So she has that bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's always there comes a point where you realize your parents are people.
Yes.
Jury's still out on that one for me.
Yeah. Well, and it's sometimes that's for the better and sometimes that's for the worse.
Yep.
So I think that one of the things I was gonna say about this scene was why I feel like just because things worked out regarding her parents' acceptance of her, the way she spends her time, it doesn't mean that this felt like a cheap ending because they've kind of reached an understanding, a tacit one, but it's not like the distance between them has been bridged. You don't have them running up to each other, embracing each other, and saying like, all these years we've been neglecting you, and now we're going to be here for you. We're going to support you in this club, and I'm going to buy you all these art supplies. It just the distance still remains. I mean, I loved what you said about the staging of the shot of the conversation, Shadon. I think that perfectly illustrates the point. And then Alex brought up the framing of it. I think that there's still a lot there for them to work through. And so just because like everything kind of played out in the best way it could as far as like the production and how they were able to show it to everyone, no major disasters, lots of pre-orders, the parents give the thumbs up so the Eizouken can continue, but like there's nothing like idyllic about the way things are at this point either. So sorry, go ahead, Shadon.
One thing I should note, by the way, is that I don't know if this is necessarily something you both would agree with, but I wonder if to a certain extent, not to the majority though, but to a certain extent, maybe Mizusaki's motivations were because it was an act of rebellion against her parents saying she couldn't do it. And if so, and again, not saying that's the majority reason for her doing this, but rather just, a factor in it, if you will. What now then? Because now she has the tacit approval, as you say. Does that change her motivation for going forward? Can she find new joy in it? Now,
I think the flashback is like the in part a counterpoint to that, because she was already from a very young age already drawing the things, and even from and then when the parents are in dialogue during the anime movie, she was already drawing like in the period when they were paying closer attention to her.
Yeah, but she was drawing and noting stuff in the world, but she wasn't then actually creating anything. She wasn't like doing like shorthand animations, for example. I feel there's a little bit of a jump to be made from where she was then to actually wanting to make anime with it.
Sure, and I'm not going to say that the her like rebelling against her parents isn't a factor. She's a teenager. Of course, it's a factor.
Damn right.
Maybe like you were saying, maybe there'll be a positive effect because she'll feel like not really burdened with like secrecy or whatever. Although she didn't really strike me as someone. She didn't seem to care particularly very much about like the moral side of keeping something for a parent. She just didn't want to get caught.
So, no, exactly.
Mizusaki is like, for better and worse, like a purist in what she does.
Oh, totally. Yep. It's all for art. Like, it doesn't matter.
The whole thing with her parents wasn't like, oh, I'm afraid my parents will disapprove. It was mitigating the effect her parents would have on her craft.
Yep.
Indeed. If I may expand on that point then, gentlemen, let me pose this thought. It's not thought I actually agree. If you're like really looking at this show kind of pedantically, so to speak, you have the MIBs in episode 1, and this is the first time they reappear. Indeed, Mizusaki's parents and the whole pressure that they've exerted on her, even just from behind the scenes, hasn't, I'd argue, really been a major factor in the difficulties the A's are going to face. The majority of them have been either internal in terms of them, talking with each other like, I want to do this, I want to do this, here's what we can do, here's what we can't do. And then as, seen in the second arc here, them working with third parties. Is that a bad thing, though? I don't think it is, that the MIBs ultimately weren't really relevant in the end.
I mean, I don't think so either. Like,
no.
It would, because the content we have gotten has been so amazing. There's been so much left to cover. Apart from that stuff, that I don't know. I mean, would it have been something that we talked about at the end of the show if they never got brought back in as sort of a loose hanging thread? Maybe. But they did bring them back in, and now the loop is closed on it. We never have to see them.
Cesar is correct in chat by saying that the student council were a more active force, and I have to wonder if there's a message to be drawn from this. Perceive threats to our creative process versus the reality, in that, hey, you know what, the opening threat is the MIBs, but really the real enemy we face is things like scheduling, production, trying to find resources to do things and all that, like all these like more mundane, like, non-interesting, non-MIB shit.
Also, it's just a fun trope that the student council is all powerful.
Well, you know, I mean, it's like you said.
I just want to see that girl like hold the microphone like backhanded.
Yeah.
Or even no, like upside down style. Like, oh my god. I mean, when you say about student council in power, though,
she's holding a knife to somebody's throat.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Just draw it across it like that. Oh my god. I mean, you did say about the student council, for example, power, and we've already made the point that Kanamori is basically proto Kiryu and Satsuki. So there you go. The connections are all there. I mean, if you told me this was like some sort of strange,
she's the nerdy-looking cousin.
If this was like a Kill la Kill prequel, I would actually possibly buy that. The clubs are crazy.
Here, I think my counterpoint is Kanamori. I'm trying to figure out how far Kanamori would let things get as a because Satsuki Kiryuin is a symbol. Satsuki Kiryuin is has instrumentalized fascism for ostensibly for noble reasons.
Yeah, it all works out in the end.
Reinhard von Lohengrin type.
We cannot get into the like purity of killing politics. That's like we would die. We would vaporize instantly on the spot. But
exactly.
I'm game if you are.
I know we could do it. That would actually be pretty fun. I don't think that's something that the internet would allow us to do about sniper beads traced on us.
Oh shit, that's something to consider. All right. So with regards to talking points, then I've got some final things I want to bring up. Firstly, a very small thing, which is there's been loads of lovely little visual details we've noticed throughout this episode, like the 90-degree angle thing, the film grain, etc. One other thing, I love the fact that let's do that over. Kanamori. I love that Kanamori is actually like when they're having the campsite thing. Asakasa is the one who's like making all of this happen, putting things together, but it's Kanamori that is literally fanning the flames. I'm like, I see you there. I like that. That's clever.
Kanamori does the cheer just as loud as the other two.
Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
So I all those little moments that help reinforce existing character stuff without again being like very didactic or overly like expository about it. Like we get it. This is a visual medium, and by God, they are giving us some real fucking visuals. Thank you, Science. Sorry. Speaking of which, this is more of a personal note for me here. I'm going to bring up Ride Your Wave here because I feel I can't divorce my experience of watching Ride Your Wave from having watched Eizouken. And I'll tell you this for free, right? If you need any more endorsement from me as to why this show is great, as you said, like it was the Magic School Bus sermon kind of thing, it is teaching us. And I've said that before, that I think the show does teach you. I noted firsthand was as watching Ride Your Wave, apart from almost bawling my eyes out at various points for it, because Jesus Christ, that thing just like almost took me out. Is that everything that Eizouken preaches, Ride Your Wave practices. You can see so many instances of where what they discuss in this show as like examples of things like, here's where we're going to use CG, for example, is used like, here's a CG surfboard. Oh, here's some repeated animation. We're saving time with it, but we're doing something a little different with it to change the context. You have like a riding through a tunnel scene that's got full color at the start versus later on that doesn't have color. It's the same animation, just devoid of the coloring. And that's to serve a meaning in the story. And this is all stuff that Eizouken teaches you, and Science Saru are actually then, practicing what they preach. And that was so fucking cool to see firsthand, along with the film itself being great in its own right.
I mean, that's the ideal, right? Like, that's why you learn about art. I mean, it's not maybe not why you learn about art, but that's the joy of learning about art.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Because it's basically so you can be the person Miyazaki wants you to be. It's like, so you can look at that and just go, fuck yeah. Like, I saw you animate that chainsaw in the ground, or I saw the way that you used low angle shots to like really set the thing, and like, that's dope. You did that.
Yeah, it enriches your experience. I mean, even like, I could see, for example, when they did all the surfing sequences, I know in my heart of hearts that Science Saru, the guys and girls who were doing that, they must have poured through hours of surfing footage to get it as pristine and accurate looking as it was. And also, I've never seen such pornographic detail on coffee before. By God, was it good. But that also again serves a purpose, which I'll not spoil or elaborate too deeply because this is still the Eizouken cast. But yeah, if you need any more proof, like that science through A, practice what they preach, and B, that you will learn something from the show and you will be better for it in terms of consuming media. Well, there you go. There you fucking go.
Small sidebar. Can we get some anime films that don't like put your heart in a vice grip and then throw it in a garbage compactor? Like,
I felt bad by the end.
I would be like, there's a market for like a really kind of,
I don't know, like I hear Grave of the Fireflies is a pretty light viewing experience.
See, this is what I'm saying, right? I mean, if it's like,
no,
people will say
no.
Like, you have things on that end, right? But then you have things like people will be like, oh, this is a really cute family film, like this is adorable,
and that's Pompoko.
But I don't want to feel all.
You are a
I don't want to
wicked
feel
centrist, you.
I don't want to feel super sentimental either. Like, I want something where I'm just like, I go and I'm like, this is really cool. And
Promare, done.
It made me feel super like
Promare.
Positive without making me cry. But Promare will make you cry too.
A show called Cardcaptor Sakura.
TV shows are different. TV shows, there's a ton of those in anime. But they just take up so much more of a time commitment, right, than like
except
a film.
Every episode of Cardcaptor Sakura is a perfect sitcom episode, like perfectly contained.
That's true.
They have just super plot and they have great characters.
I need to watch that show. I have not seen it.
You need to watch Promare, Doc. Like, that is exactly the film.
I'll be able to in May.
Angel the Devil's on your shoulder, you should watch this 70-episode Magical Girl show, and Shadon, you should watch the Trigger movie.
Man, which one is which? I don't know. That's a.
I mean, I can be your angel or your devil.
Thank you. I teed you up for that one. Real nice. Oh boy. Well, now Shadon, though, despite you saying that it is emotional work, and then it puts you through the ringer, I still want to see that movie. I'm still.
Can I make a suggestion to you, Doc? Mm-hmm. Take your wife with you.
But she's
there.
no. But take her for Promare. Go for it. Right. Just trust me on this.
You just missed Valentine's Day. You could have sold it.
We're not big at, like, it's hard for us to go out with 3 small children, and paying for childcare sucks.
Ignite the flame of love on Valentine's Day. Promare in your theaters now.
I didn't get the chance for, unfortunately. Watched it for my birthday, so that was nice. But yeah, well, anyway, I'll not belabor the point because, again, we're not really here to talk about Ride Your Wave. But yeah, kudos to Science Story for making me appreciate their own film more. It's like they planned it, the bastards.
Alex, did you have any other items you wanted to bring up about this episode?
I've been looking through my notes the last 5 minutes just to make sure I had it. Mm-hmm. So if you've seen my eyes drift slightly to the right, that's why.
I'm just watching for the rabid bear that's in the corner of my room that you can see.
I'm glad you realize it's in the corner of your room.
Keep her at bay.
And so you've got nothing else then, Alex, at the moment?
Yeah, no. There's actually this is the second episode in a row where I've noticed something, which there's a translation. This is going to sound so horrible. Bad fan. But there's a translation choice made in the last episode, and there's a translation choice made in this episode, which
Kanamori is worthy of my grace.
But there's a thing, but they accidentally gloss over something, which in this episode is when the robot captain is running, and he starts singing the Mazinger Z theme song. They say the subtitle is, "Oh no, he's powering up," which is great. It rules because he is powering up. But they say something like, "Oh, it's the OP," like the words the OP. Mm-hmm. And the thing was, they didn't have an OP for their robot anime. These Looney Tunes shenanigans are the OP for their robot anime.
It's true. It's super true.
Oh my god, that's incredible.
Wow. What a, holy shit, man. This is like art, concept art. Like,
you can just make good art. You can do it.
I would love.
Who the fucking fuck?
You set things up. You pay them off.
If I made an anime, I too would say, the OP is what happened outside the building, 30 minutes before.
I mean, this episode also has the joke. I don't remember if it's this episode or if it's last episode. Where Azak says like, "Oh, thank God, it's actually kind of cool if we can just get into it and just not do the OP." When the first episode of Eizouken has the OP as first of all, it's like it's the sound of 2020. It's easy.
Exactly.
I am willing to bet it is also the sound of the summer. And if it's not, it should be. But like the way it leads into the OP in that first episode is, wow, I finally realized that anime was made by people, and then you get easy breezy and you see the credits.
Mm-hmm.
It's so I can't add any more than that.
Let's see. Fuck. I love that. It's more work, and the Kanamori is absolutely right from a production standpoint. That no, we didn't finish it. What are you talking about? Shut up. But
let's keep a sense of objectivity here.
But, the way that it continues that trend, that it's actually it's more joyous and it's more impactful when you see that things are made by people, because you see the people doing the live dub, and the captain, both because like he was ziplining everywhere and because he's the obviously the most passionate person in the vocal cast.
You know what's funny actually, now that you mentioned that, in the first time round the auditions, he was an impediment in that one because he was going too far with his enthusiasm, like filling in like the like noises and such. But here, that same enthusiasm with a bit of tempering, so he executes it properly, really sells it. Like that same thing works in his favor when he's doing the live dubbing.
Yeah, no, like the difference between him and asshole art guy is he listens to criticism.
fuck asshole art guy.
Yeah.
I was about to say fuckboy, but he's not a fuckboy. That dude could never get it.
No.
He is at least 3 levels of character development away from the possibility of getting it.
Oh,
anyway.
I'm not even putting that as a poll. That's an undeniable fact.
It's true, yeah. It's no need to employ the scientific method. We just know.
Also, the riot police pull him out, and then they're the 2 dudes who saw him like do the zipline are like, "Yeah, we love you, dude." Great.
So good.
Oh
Those are the real winners of the episode.
Yeah, no, doing it. It's so like Eizouken is just constantly batting 1,000 because it's because it wants to invest you in anime as a thing that people make, so it wants to invest you now who are the people who make anime and how do they do it and yada yada, but also like that. Since they're already focusing the lens on giving humanity to people who are usually behind the scenes, they're just doing that for all of like the side characters, and and that's why it was a little bit surprising, but like not a little bit unexpected, but not like surprising that Mizusaki's parents show up, because it's like the exact same thing. They're the people behind the scenes. We don't really talk about them now, and they're human and they're just people.
Yeah, they've made mistakes, but they're certainly not malicious. They're not bad per se. They're just negligent, I suppose, is the word you could use for it.
Also,
maybe
if Asakusa ever murdered Kanamori, Mizusaki would absolutely be laughing it off.
I don't know what's more implausible about that. The idea of or not. Like, I just get the feeling like you just went to try and stab her. She just grabbed a knife, like by the blade. Oh,
here's
am I bleeding now?
If Kanamori ever faked her own death involving Asakusa,
a key.
If it got the anime going.
Yeah, right. That's right. Yeah, if she was an impediment too. Here's something I'll just add about this episode that I really liked, and it may seem a really obvious point, but I think it's not as obvious as I would like it to be, because of the way that I think a lot of people live their lives, including myself. and it's kind of almost a counterpoint in some ways to the last episode's title of I need to do it for myself. I need to do it. This episode, I think, is all about that a group of people working together can accomplish so much more than one person. They've gotten all these different experts in different fields and enthusiastic people and people that wanted to put their talents that they had to the test and into action. They've incorporated them all into the project. The sound effects lady is instrumental. Can
I ask a question, Barry? Why?
No, shout out to a real one. Absolutely.
Why?
Hey, we need to like pay attention to the acoustics of the fake spaces you're drawing. I was like, you.
I have a question. Why is she not part of the OP? Do you not think that she should be included as the fourth member of the Eizouken?
In the final episode, there will be a live version of the OP, and she's mixing the tables.
That's fine by me.
A remix of Easy Breezy.
Also, because they tried to drag her into the OP, and she would not come.
That also, yeah, I can get. I work best. I work best with headphones on behind the scenes.
Too busy listening to like this.
I have to record these like these 5 different versions of me eating a pizza.
Exactly. I'm just listening to an 18th century door close over and over again for accuracy.
Incredible.
But so yeah, and the Robot Club, the HVAC Club, they're dragged into it against their will, but they're still part of it. Like, and it's only with like everybody working together and collaborating creatively and putting everything into it that like they're able to pull this screening off, because they could have easily made the thing and then just no one would have seen it. But it was this huge group effort, and I don't think it's Mizuzaki, you were wrong last episode. I think it's just that like in different kind of situations in human life, like these two things need to be integrated.
But like Mizuzaki has never had to face what a context is before.
Yeah.
And the thing that she's learning now is that one, context is a thing that exists. It's not, and two, that it's a thing which can lead her to fulfilling her own goals.
Absolutely. The
beautiful dream of Kanamori is that the compromise is always for the artistic vision.
Right. Yeah. That is again, like, it is a beautiful dream, isn't it? It's never for...
I've got a hammer here. Let me find a nail for you, so you can just...
Yeah. It's never for like the it's never against the artistic vision in favor of the product.
Is like Kanamori may be unscrupulous in a lot of ways, but she's never a coward, and that is I think I could say about any other production committee.
That's true. Right, do we have any other points to bring up, folks, or just that?
Hold on. I think I had some. Shit, Doc. Sorry. What was your last point? I thought I had something to say about that.
That's good. More people working together can accomplish more than someone working on their own, and that doesn't invalidate Mizuzaki's perspective from before. It's just like there's
Mizuzaki anime was a mistake.
Yep.
God damn it. But yeah, just that like there's different points of view that need to be applied to different contexts. And you were saying she doesn't know what a context is.
Yeah, no shit. And I grabbed onto that, and I had to think. Fuck. Hold on. Shadon, you have anything else to say? While I try.
No, I'm fresh out, mate.
We can begin the process of rating the episode while you think about
that.
This.
We can, and the polls as well.
That's right. Well,
them.
So
I'll do the polls then.
Yeah, why don't you refresh the polls and let our listeners know where they stand, and viewers as well.
Indeed. Speaking of which, if you want to get onto these polls and contribute...
Sorry, no, I remembered it. You keep going.
Okay, then. So while Alex just lets that simmer in his, cogitator, as it were, episode 8, poll number 1. If you want to get on these polls, by the way, get to at Warui Deshou. They'll be open for a week. Get involved in the democratic process to talk silly nonsense about anime with us. First poll, episode 8, number 1. Did Kanamori cross the line by stating that whatever was necessary to benefit the production in the long run had to be done? You've got 3 choices here. Your first one, of which 8% have voted, is George Wada territory. That's like, whoa, way too far.
Way too far.
But, Alex really is replacing me at this point. God damn it. I'm shamed by the fact I didn't even come up with that myself. 50% of you say it was a bit much, so yeah, cross line a little bit, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world. And 42% say, no, it's fine. Didn't go too far. Poll number 2. This is one of my fun ones here. So which of these, in your opinion, the best stealth action sequence? 22% of you say Metal Gear Solid 1, Shadow Moses. 11% of you say Deus Ex, Liberty Island.
Man.
Yeah. 44% of you say Eizouken, Shiba Hammer. Mm-hmm. You're right. 23% of you say the Ocean's 11 Casino. By the way, I'm going to let that be an open one, so if you've got any other great stealth sequences from games or fiction, drop them in there. Put them in replies, as I'd like to read them. Next up, poll number 3.
The production of Saras and Mai that was a stealth operation. Sneaking in the balls inside of the anuses that needed to be retrieved.
Yeah, I was just going to say the Wind Waker, but fine.
Hey, if you've got all your own, send them my way. Let me know what you think. All right, poll number 3. Did you finish this episode with a more favorable opinion of Mizusaki's parents than when you started?
I mean, how can you not, I think? Right?
Well, 78% you say yes, better. 22% say about the same. 0% say no, worse.
Okay. Well, the tripartite division makes more sense there than just the yes/no binary. So
this ain't my first rodeo making a poll on
yeah, okay.
Poll science.
There have been polls where people were just morally wrong before.
I'll have to come back to that off cast to get some. And the final poll number 4. This one's going to be controversial. I know that Alex shit over it, although it's not a perspective I agree with, I should point out. Do you think that when Mizusaki notes to her parents that they are also actors, does that mean she thinks they genuinely don't approve, or rather they don't genuinely approve of her making anime? 40% you say yes, and 60% you say no.
That's a bad read.
It's not a point I agree with, but I thought I'd put it out there.
Dude, can we somehow poll what Jessica has said in chat? Like, was it ever explained why Mizu was dressed as a manta ray? Like,
type me to touch type.
Explanations of why Mizusaki was dressed as a manta ray.
Was it? Oh, this is me trying to touch type and
Did she kill Steve Irwin?
Oh, that's an old. Oh my god! Like
that was a stingray. This is a full flag operation on all manta rays.
I was going in a different angle at Doc. There, getting the point across. Well done.
Oh god! Did you know I stepped on a
which is way too Metal Gear Ray references, which is way too.
That's good. I stepped on a stingray once. But not the, crucially, it was not the stinger. I stepped on the, yeah.
I get the feeling that was obvious, given we're having.
I mean, here's the thing. Steve Irwin took it to the heart. You can take a lot of things to the heart which aren't poisonous and still die.
Yes, or the
foot.
I feel like you could survive a stingray sting on the foot, probably. But I stepped on the back of one, and it felt like I was getting electrocuted, but it was just how fast the thing was shaking itself loose from under the sand. The body was sent like a vibration on my leg.
You stepped on a flat vibrator and you got very scared.
No, that is not what happened. I looked down, and there was like a whole school of these stingrays buried just beneath the sand in
Stingray
like waist deep water.
Was Stingray the model name, Doc? Is that what it appears as in the catalog?
It's actually a massager. Thank you very much.
Oh my god.
Okay, fair enough.
It's a good and exciting story. We ran very fast and got to see.
That is what they say in the ad.
Did it take D batteries?
They were beautiful. Like once I was out of danger. Seriously, you're talking to.
You know, you said before about Masaki had no idea about concept.
No, I have an idea. I'm just choosing to ignore this one. That is being forced upon me. I do not countenance it. I'm willing a different context into being and just saying those animals are just gorgeous and beautiful. And again, once I realized that my life was not in danger and that they just were hanging out, like, because I guess it was mating season and they were like getting ready to move in a group.
You're in a hole. Stop digging.
I can't help it. It's one of my favorite memories. I loved being so close to those stingrays.
Well, there's my fucking mic. Dear Penthouse, I never thought it could happen to me.
I'm gonna cry.
I hate you all so much. Why are you tarnishing the beauty of nature? It was so wonderful. And now you're making it so dirty. I hate you so much.
Did you film it?
Oh, I'm so lucky I wasn't drinking anything.
I almost made Space drink out, which makes me... Anyway, thank you everyone who's participated in the polls. I put poll number 5 up, which is the Manta Ray question. It has nothing to do with Doc's, use of Ann Summers products, so please ignore that context. But otherwise, get yourself up to Warui Deshou on Twitter. Get yourself in on the polls, offer your thoughts on them, retweet them. Love to see all that. Now, Doc is currently recovering his psychic energy here because his soul has been deeply ravaged by the discussion we've just had. So, with that, I think it's about time we started rating the episode. I'm going to pass it over to our very good and lovely guest, Alex. Give it out of 5, Alex.
Out of 5?
Yes. You can do it in decimalized points, by the way.
Sorry, what?
You can do it as a decimal point, by the way. It can be 4.5, 4.7, etc.
I don't believe in numbers. I was always bad at math. Numbers aren't real. They can't hurt you.
I reject your quantitative nature. Substitute my own.
If you want to assign them...
I rate this episode going out for a drink with a family member the first time you realize they were a person outside of being your family.
Yeah. I was going to say, on that. Please feel free to rate it in a different quantitative manner.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, you do your thing, man. Right, so I'll right now rate. Again, Eizouken, I've said this many times before, but it just continues to be such a delight to watch week on week. It's always funny. It's always joyous. Never a dull moment in it. And like with episode 4, I really, really love the sense of triumph that came from seeing the characters pull this off again. Different obstacles this time around in this little arc that's been going on for the past couple of episodes, but still that same wonderful feeling at the end to see them pull it off, especially on a personal level for Mizuzaki, where that thing has been hanging over her for so long. She's like, no, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me, I'll do what I want. And she did. I'm getting the Raged reference.
Yeah, some of those that work forces.
Exactly. So with all that said, in the end, I am going to give this episode the full 5 out of 5, impossibly, set up zip lines out of 5.
I'm gonna take the not coward's way out here, and I'm gonna say this one broke the scale for me in terms of this show.
Yeah, I'm not going to disavow the scale like the rest of you. Instead, I'm going to disavow the scale in my own fashion.
I'm saying that I could rate it 5 out of 5, but I'm going to do 6 out of 5. 6,
You're still disqualifying the sanctity of the scale. You're one of us, stuff.
No. Okay, fine.
One of us.
Fine.
One of us. One of us. One of us. One of us. One of us.
Fine. We'll go 5 blackmails. Blackmailing of the HVAC clubs out of 5. We won't go 6. We'll go 5. Just because I think, again, this is like one of my favorite episodes of anime I've seen in a long time. It made me feel so many things, both as like someone rooting for these girls, and as a parent and a husband and a fan of art, an appreciator of anime, like as a mecha person. Like it was really like, felt like it was just pushing so many of my buttons.
Somebody mentioned that Mizusaki is never going to run out of work because now she's one of 5 people still alive.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that was Felix Sakuga Daichi in chat.
Okay, good.
It's so true.
They're right.
Yeah. Hard agree on that one.
Get on over to Sunrise Girl. They need you. They need you really bad.
Okay, you're our only hope.
All right. I'll just quickly intervene here because it's now the end of the podcast. Alex, first off, I think I could speak for both myself and Doc here, but from me, thank you very much for coming back. It is always a delight to have you on, my friend, especially for your insights, your wit, your charm, and the fact that you helped me destroy Doc's soul. And
you're never coming on the show again. So
I beg to differ. You brought him on
until I replace Shadon.
Yes, you brought him on to replace me, but you see how the tables.
Now I'm being replaced.
Oh, see, if I replaced Duck, then I couldn't bully him anymore.
Exactly. There needs to be someone to dunk on. So,
fine, I'll take that bullet then. Fair enough. But yeah, thank you very much for coming out. Could you be a favor though? Could you tell our audience here, Lace Point, be it on VOD or on podcast, where people can find you and your work?
Well, you can find me on BioD42 at Twitter. Or the as the aforementioned King Shit Only account. Or you can find me some of the work I've done on allthemediamatters.com or .wordpress.com. You can probably find it on .com. It's WordPress if you can't find the first one. I haven't been there so long. It's been a while. But when I was still writing, I did some good articles on Evangelion, on the Sound Euphonium, Penguin Drum, which Shadon recently watched and enjoyed and a lot of other stuff in between. So if you like some of the things I had to say, you can read those.
I can definitely attest firsthand, folks, by the way. I read Alex's Penguin Drum article and it's fantastic. So if his writing is anywhere near up to that par, you'll get a lot out of it. Definitely check that stuff out.
Yeah, I want to definitely thank the chef for taking a break from his Twitter DJing duties and sandwich making to grace us with his presence and like bring all the great opinions and insight and analysis. I mean, we'd love to have you back anytime. Heck, I think
hell yes.
Just to cover this show, as if you're free, anytime, you're definitely welcome. You're official friend of the pod. Get your ass into the Discord more often, etc., etc.
Yeah,
I try. I'm sorry.
Be the king shit of our Discord, my lad.
You should. There's little competition for that.
There's only room for one king shit in this Discord.
So, yeah, I guess so. We've done the polls, we've done the ratings.
Yep.
I think we're about to sign off. So, again, thanks to Alex, Shadon. Where would people find your stuff if they want to get after you on Twitter?
You can find me at Shane1010. I'm usually blabbering about any random nonsense that I'm doing at any given time. And also usually about Alpha, which I'm sure will not be used to, profile sort of horrific accident.
And I'm...
I mean, the best kind of character assassination is the one that you perform on yourself, is what I'm saying.
Or assassination.
Well, I'm not planning on doing that, to be honest. Just drinking myself, to an early grave more than anything. But yeah, do feel free to hit me up on there about anything you want. Politics, other media, beer.
Don't invite that.
Oh, fuck it. I'll take on all comers.
Doc, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say you can find me at the Subtle Doctor on Twitter. Please.
I like how you both said that in the tone of like, God, we here, like inviting politics on Twitter. What the fuck is he doing?
Why would you ever do that?
Because I like good slap fights sometimes.
You and Anthony, you all are just spoiling for it, and I can't. It exhausts me. I don't have the fortitude to continually put up with that bullshit. So
I don't think I can be mad that much. I don't know how y'all do it. I am no.
But look, if you enjoy what we do, we have a Patreon, Warui Deshou. It's patreon.com/Warui Deshou. And you can go there. There are 3 budget-friendly tiers for you and all your economic situations. You can get Discord access. You can get access to extra content, like our Jeweler Richer episodes week on week are opened up early for Patreon users. There's also some stuff that is totally exclusive and won't come out from behind the paywall, like our After Hours show, the bi-weekly discussion about whatever we feel like talking about. There's plenty more that is coming soon. We got stuff in the pipeline we're working on. Check our Twitter for details on that. And if you're not able to support us financially, first of all, you two are valid. We love you. And there's plenty of other ways you can help out if you want to. You can subscribe to our SoundCloud, our Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can follow us these places. You can share our work. Give us a review, the old 5-snake review on Apple Pods, Shadon's favorite. And yeah, so that is how, if you enjoy us, you can do your bit. And remember, we can all do more together than just this podcast can do on its own. So take those Eizouken lessons to heart. And
that's why we need to canvas out in the street and punch any of the political opponents we can find.
I'll fight Sorry.
Oligarchs, America can do better. Or what is it? America deserves better.
when your entire political campaign is completely tone deaf.
It's just so bad.
Nice one, dude, Berg.
We cannot do this. Not now.
After the credits. But anyway,
credit sequence. Comsuser Todd is about to play. Then
we could do the waypoint thing.
Yeah.
All right.
So, all right, no, guys. I wanted to thank you for having me again on the show. It's always a pleasure. And I think that's all I had to say. So, hold on. I've been feeling very bad about the fact that the wall away from my laptop is the most boring wall in my apartment. You saw him before. Here's Mordred. He's my son. Hello. The little bit of anime street cred. And just for the person who shouted out the Lupin episode, I have been drinking from a Fujiko Mine mug this whole time.
Oh, snap.
I get the feeling you're going to get DM'd by that.
That rules.
I didn't hear that, but I am assuming it was positive.
You did cut out for a brief moment.
No, I was going to say, the person who shouted that out, they're going to be DMing you now that you said that, saying, where can I get that cup?
I found it in Milan, so I have no idea.
That's not going to stop him. He's the biggest Lupin fan ever.
Dude, Italy loves Lupin.
Oh my god, they love Lupin so much.
Lupin in Italy. It's crazy.
It's so sweet.
It's crazy. Just how things hit in different markets. Cowboy Bebop for the United States, Lupin for Italy. Saint Seiya in South America and Latin America. Yeah, it's nuts. That stuff always is so interesting to me. How different shows resonate.
Political Revolution in the Philippines was in part sponsored by
Voltes 5. Yes, absolutely. That is what a cool story. We should talk about that sometime. That is a great story that I love to think about. Anyway, we have gone on for long enough. Thanks to the chef. Thanks to the hardest working man in pod business. I'm the Doc. Till next time, embrace each other, everyone, to the ends of the universe.
Good night.
Keep it easy breezy.